Sorry? Oh, we'll move on to our fourth speaker, Vijay Krishna Prabhu from, you're in Kashmir, right, Prabhu?
Yeah, in Jammu actually, not in Kashmir.
So Prabhu came to, first met the devotees in 1998. Particularly, I think you had a lot of association with Damodar Maharaj. And you first met, Prabhu first met Srila Gurudev in 2003 in Florida, in Alachua, when he was doing his PhD. And in that year, he took Harinam Diksha. And then he's got the precise date. He said on the 14th of July, 2007, he took complete shelter, gave up his PhD, took complete shelter of Srila Gurudev, and has since been doing a lot of publishing, a lot of preaching, and looking after the temple in Jammu. So warm welcome, Vijay. And Vijay also has pioneered the equivalent program of this in India, which I think has been really successful. I had a great time. I think I spoke for about 2 hours the other day. It went on and on. It was wonderful. I felt very, very at home. It was really enjoyable. So thank you for your beautiful seva in India. And if Sahadev could hold on, we'll come back to you, Sahadev, after Vijay Krishna. Haribol, Dhanavad.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to glorify Shri Gurudev and inviting me for this program, especially Sham Sundari Didi and Shodanandan Prabhu and Shodari Didi. I'm thankful to you. Thank you so much. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. First of all, I would like to offer my unlimited Shashtang Dandot Pranam obeisances to the lotus feet of my Paramaradhyatam Shri Gurupada Padma, Nitrila Prishna Vishnupada Stotha Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayana Gosvami Maharaji, then to my Shiksha Gurudev, Nitrila Prishna Vishnupada Stotha Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaji, and to the Rupan of Shri Guru Vargajan, and to the assembled senior devotees and new devotees and matas and sisters, God sisters and God brothers. I would like to offer my very humble obeisances. Thank you so much. This is a very great and nice opportunity to glorify Shri Gurudev. First, I would like to share with you all that Shri Gurudev is so special, so kind, and so magnanimous, and is so great that he took great pains to come and travel the whole world, like more than 36 times, 2 times a year basically, and he took great pains, he went to great lengths to go to each and every place to just distribute the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaurvani. And he would, wherever he would go, he would try to explain what Mahaprabhu came to give. Why? Because before him, before that time, gradually people only thought that Sankirtan was what Shri Mahaprabhu came to give and nothing more than that. But Shri Gurudev gradually tried to teach, preach people, saying that this is not the complete thing what Mahaprabhu came to give, but rather through the Sankirtan, he actually wanted to give the spontaneous love of Radha and Krishna, which is found only within the Vrajavasis of Shri Krishna's, associates. So Shri Gurudev's message was really special, and this message was catered to those who have been cultured by Swami Maharaj, Swami Prabhupada from the beginning in Vaidhi Bhakti, and who have been, practicing this for a long time. So Shri Gurudev, he went to so many places, and he took great pains, just because Srila Swami Prabhupada ji told him just before leaving to the eternal pastimes of Sri Krishna that you should go each and every place and try to preach to my disciples. And Shri Gurudev, in his very you know very old age, advanced age, he traveled. I mean, he would travel from here in India to Holland or London for 6 hours travel. He would be tired and he would take rest there. Then from there, he would travel to either US or to different places. So, same with the Eastern tour. Like he would go to Malaysia or Singapore. He would stay there. Then from there, he would travel to uh, Australia, New Zealand, and different places. And I've seen him personally that he would go to different places, and I have been to Badger and Houston a couple of times, and in Alachua too. He had come, he stayed in Jalakar Prabhu's house, like such a nice group of devotees there in Alachua. And Shri Gurudev, he sprinkled sweetness. I mean, not just something, speaking from you know, podium, like a big speaker kind of thing, but rather a practical, uh, way of teaching. Like he would deal with devotees in such a sweet manner. He would chastise them in a sweet way, and you know, he would teach them. For example, I've seen many times uh, during the morning walk, say in Badger or in Florida, wherever he went. So many disciples and even the senior disciples of Swami Prabhupada, they would go with him uh, during the morning walk, and Gurudev would travel for some time, like, walk for some time. Then he would sit in a park, sit in a place. Then he would question the senior devotees. I mean, he was very strict in that. He would question them. Okay, now you tell me, like, what did you hear from me last night? And if that person cannot say, I mean, that senior devotee cannot say, uh, I mean, he can very well be ready for Shri Gurudev's chastisement. Like, I have heard one time Shri Gurudev, he asked, tell me the definition of bhakti. And that senior devotee was like, and within a second, Shri Gurudev just gave a thrash like him. So that's how sweet and strict he was, and that's how he was trying to teach. I mean, so many people, so many you know years have passed, and you don't even know what bhakti is, like pure bhakti is. So things like this, and he took great pains in that age. I mean, to teach this spontaneous love, rag bhakti of Radha and Krishna. I mean, what all he did. One time in 2004, uh, during the Badger Festival, was fortunate enough there to visit there first time. And there I saw, so many devotees, like roughly 700, 900 devotees there. And they were all, listening to Shri Gurudev daily. And Shri Gurudev spoke 2004 there in Badger. He spoke about Mahatsanga, the supreme, the pure devotee, you know, association. And there he said to the crowd, and I was sitting there. So there he said, like, if you come to Vrindavan, come with a one-way ticket. And that statement just, struck with me. I mean, it just, like, I was just, like dumbfounded, and I just, took that statement to my heart. And when I left, I wrote to Shri Vishnu Prabhu and, Isha Prabhu there in Florida. I, wrote to them, Indupati Prabhu also from there in Florida, nice devotees. I mean, I'm very much indebted to them all in so many ways. They helped me there. And I wrote to them that I've taken a one-way ticket to Vrindavan. I mean, they didn't realize what I was saying, but then gradually they understood what I meant. So Shri Gurudev, I mean, he was so strong. I mean, he tried to, you know, instill the mood of Rupa and Raghunath. Shri Prabhupada used to say, like the Jagat Guru Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he used to say like this. So Shri Gurudev also told like this, and that's what inspired me. And I said I took one-way ticket. So there in Bajar, Shri Gurudev was speaking about this Mahasangha for 7 days from the Sanatana Goswami Prad Bhagavad Bhagavatamritam. So then one day I heard Srila Swami Prabhupada's disciple, Shri Bhagavan Das Prabhu, he came there to visit Shri Gurudev. And then Gurudev told him to speak, and he tried to glorify Shri Gurudev. And he said a very, I mean, sweet thing, but a very relevant thing. So what he said on that day was, he said, I've seen my Guru Maharaj, Swami Prabhupada, he never took medicines. He just, fasted, and he never, took this, allopathic medicines. Ayurvedic maybe, but not, allopathic much. But then he said, now I'm seeing Gurudev, Shri Narayana Goswami Maharaj Ji, now I'm seeing him. He said, Maharaj Ji is taking so many medicines daily. Why? Just because he has so much love and so much, magnanimity towards the fallen souls of this world, that he's taking great pains, that he's taking medicines just so that he can able to fulfill the mission given by Srila Swami Prabhupada to go and to preach the message to my disciples. So, from this statement, you can understand how much pains and, effort Shri Gurudev was taking to keep himself fit. And those who have been near him may know this. I think Shri Madhuvrat Prabhu was here. I think Shri Madhuvrat Prabhu, he knows this. He was there with Gurudev, and he knows this, Pujya Shri Madhav Maharaj, he used to have a box. In that box, like, it would be labeled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And there would be like 3 compartments, like morning, noon, nighttime. It would be filled with tablets, so many tablets, and I mean, just unbelievable. And Madhav Maharaj took, care enough to give those medicines from time to time. And Shri Gurudev, he took those medicines, Why? So that he can be able to preach the message of Mahaprabhu, Shri Rupa and Raghunath, to the, to the devotees, the worldwide devotees. So I mean, that's how much he like sacrificed his personal thing just for uh, the preaching of the spontaneous love, the rag bhakti. I mean, this the whole message was new. I mean, people, especially in the West, even in India, people have slowly forgotten this message of Rupan Raghunath, the spontaneous love raga bhakti. And Sri Gurudev, I mean, he single uh, uh, handedly he revived this whole thing. I mean, it was a, I mean, when he tried to do it, there was a very strong, uh, opposition to this. People even called names, saying him Sahajiya and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. But he was very strong, and he would try to say from like time to time, I'm trying to glorify the very soul of Sri Krishna, Sri Radharani, and the gopis of the Braj. And those who don't glorify those devotees, they are fallen and they are bound to fall. And the reason that, like, reason that I'm always glorifying Sri Radharani, I will never fall down. So that's how he tried to counter the, criticisms from the senior devotees in, ISKCON and so many things. They try to ban him. They try to do so many things. But Shri Gurudev made a statement. He said, they try to ban me, but I try to jump on those ban, and I'm like a, like there's a statement in Hindi, like it's called Savasher, meaning I'm like uh, 1.5 times like powerful lion. I mean, literal translation, but it means that they tried to stop me, but rather I, became stronger enough, and I overcome those like problems, and I try to, preach the message. And I mean, he was so merciful. He forgave them all for their mistakes, and he, he showered them mercy. He like showered them kindness. I mean, it's just unthinkable what he did. And we saw towards the end in 2008 or 9, so many GBCs, Gopal Krishna Maharaj and few others, they came to beg, forgiveness from Shri Gurudev. And Gurudev was kind enough the whole time. And he said, I tried only to, to tell you the proper message of Swami Prabhupada, and I never tried to grab, ISKCON and things like that. And Gurudev was the one who tried to save ISKCON. I mean, we have heard the way Guru Maharaj, they called Shri Guru Maharaj to Bombay. Shri Gurudev used to go to Bombay to fight in the court case. The court case, the case was uh, called upon by the son of Swami Prabhupada, and he put a case on ISKCON, saying that this whole thing is my property. Now I'm his son, so it belongs to me. And Shri Gurudev, I mean, they call Shri Gurudev as a witness that he took sannyas from Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Mathura, and Shri Gurudev used to go, but they kind of, didn't treat him very well. I mean, when he had to return from Bombay, he just returned in a, normal, like sleeper class train. And this one time he just got sick, and so Madhav Maharaj, I mean, he fought with them, and he said that if you don't give, proper treatment like flight tickets for the servants and for Shri Gurudev, we will not be coming and like winning the case. So that's how, they mistreated kind of I mean, they didn't realize the value of Shri Gurudev actually. I mean, that's what I can say. Shri Gurudev was Deenheen. I mean, he was very, you know, he was very down to earth, uh, you know, humble. And he never said that I'm a big sannyasi, I need to have these facilities and this and that. He was very, very down to earth, and he kind of adjusted with whatever he had. Uh, so Gurudev actually he saved ISKCON from being taken over, from being like destroyed, and he tried to teach the GBCs, the main leaders of ISKCON, by his love and you know affection. He tried to uh, teach them sincerely, lovingly, and he taught them so many secrets, so many the teachings or the moods of Shri Rupa and Raghunath, and especially Swami Maharaj. But then they all, I mean, due to management or politics or whatever it is, they just didn't properly, treat. And Shri Gurudev chastised them for that too. Shri Gururaj Maharaj, he came to beg sorry from Shri Gurudev. Some recording is there. So, so during the tape work, I heard that recording. So in that recording, Shri Gururaj Maharaj, he came to Shri Gurudev begging for mercy. I mean, sorry from Shri Gurudev. Shri Gurudev kind of chastised him, saying that, like, what did I do wrong? Huh? But then he couldn't give any kind of reply, and he just, just listened to whatever Shri Gurudev said, and then she like went back, and Shri Gurudev was like, I'm not, you know, uh, angry with you all, but this is not the way to treat a Vaishnava. So that's how Shri Gurudev was very sweet to the, to those people too. And wherever he went in the whole world, there was, opposition from ISKCON. But then Shri Gurudev, he managed, I mean, he kind of conquered with his love and affection. He just moved the people of this world, and then he kind of inspired them all to rejuvenated them all to to follow Krishna consciousness once again, because due to bad association or no association, gradually people there in the West, they just lost the taste and you know interest to do bhakti. But then Shri Gurudev inspired them, and then people flocked Shri Gurudev, and so many people, I mean, he touched their lives, he changed their lives, and he showed what true love to Radha and Krishna is, what is true love of a Vaishnavas are. So that's how Shri Gurudev was a, eternal associate of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Shri Radha and Krishna, and he taught so many things. Like, for example, he pioneered uh, the Rupa Goswami festival. I mean, this festival is such an uh, amazing thing that for 3 days we would have topmost scholars of Sri Vrindavan Dham come and speak about the glories of Sri Rupa and Rupa Goswami Pad, and such a high class of katha, you know. So when I came to the mat, I was really new. So at the beginning, I mean, things just flew over my head. Then gradually, I mean, the second year something, the third year something. So like this, gradually things just, built up. But that's how high class the Rupa Goswami Pad conference or the sabha was basically, I mean, during Kartik, we get to hear something. But this Rupa Goswami Path conference, the Sabha was much superior to the Kartik Mahotsav also, because it was very specific to the teachings of Sri Rupa Goswami Path, and so many different viewpoints and the glorification of Sri Rupa Goswami Path's teachings we get to hear. And the beauty, the superiority of Sri Gurudev was such that so many scholars, they would speak for, so long time, you know, hours and hours. But Shri Gurudev would just finish it off by saying uh, humbly that I am not a scholar, but due to the mercy of my Shri Guru Maharaj, I'm able to touch some little glories of Sri Rupa Goswami Pad. And saying this in a very short and sweet way, he would just summarize and he would pinpoint the, exact glories of Sri Rupa Goswami Pad in such a beautiful way. I mean, what those people, they have told for 2-3 hours, Shri Gurudev would just, you know, uh, icing on a cake, like we say. So Shri Gurudev would just pinpoint in 10 minutes or 5 minutes, he would just say those, the points, the main points, the main contribution of Sri Rupa Goswami Path. And at the same time, if somebody, no matter who he is, no matter he may be a big scholar or big personality, but if he had done some kind of a mistake, Siddhantic mistake, Shri Gurudev, I mean, he would correct him, but in a very sweet way. He would try to correct him and put the, proper Siddhanta in the Sabha. That's like, unparalleled. Nobody can dare to cut somebody's thing, but in a Sabha, Shri Gurudev would do that. That's how a great personality he was. You can see him in Mathura too. Like, I stayed in Mathura for like 12 years, from 2004 to 2016, 15, 16. So I have seen that Shri Gurudev, he had such a, very high position among the Chaturvedi Brahmins of Shri Mathura. But this was not the case before. The Mutt was founded in 1954 by Param Gurudev, and Shri Gurudev was given in charge by Param Gurudev, just so that Mahaprabhu's message can be preached in northern belt of India. Because mostly the Bengali speaking people, due to the language, people don't get attracted to them. So Param Gurudev wanted that somebody Hindi speaking person, he should stay here and he should spread the message, and that's what Shri Gurudev exactly tried to do. So before, like for nearly 40 years, Gurudev stayed in Mathura, but the situation was really, really bad. You cannot even imagine the situation. The mud was dungy and in a very bad situation, and there was no much facility, no financial support, nothing. But still, Shri Gurudev just focused on bhajan, and people just thought that, oh, this whole place is infested with Bengalis who just know, black magic. So people would, like, call names on them, and nobody would come to that place. The situation was so bad. The brahmacharis who used to go for bhiksha, Param Gurudev's disciple, Pujapashi Mangal Maharaj and few others, one day they went for Bhiksha. And in the holy gate, these Chaturvedi Brahmins, I mean, they are big and they are like Panda and they just foul language and just beat and things like that. So these people, they went for Bhiksha and they caught these two brahmacharis. They just trashed them and told them, "You Bengalis, you have no manners here, and you come here and beg, for Bhiksha here. Go back to your place." So something like this. So they came back to Shri Gurudev, and Shri Gurudev told them, "Okay, no problem. Don't go for like 4 or 5 days. Then slowly we will go to a different place." I mean, that's how difficult the days were. Nobody, thought of supporting them and things like that. But seeing Shri Gurudev's power, seeing Shri Gurudev's bhajan uh, siddhi, you know, uh, so Gurudev's uh, greatness, those people gradually they changed. They saw how much Nishta Shri Gurudev has in Shri Radharani, because in Vraj, Radharani is their life and soul. So seeing how much Nishta Shri Gurudev has to Shri Radharani and the way of his bhajan and his total like dedication, his mastery of the Shastras, slowly, all the Chaturved Brahmins and Pandits and the whole Mathura people changed. And after 1996, when the preaching in the West started, and when the Western people started coming, then they realized, oh, this is not a, ordinary person. Then they gave proper, like respect and to the mud, and they gave misconception they had before. This is all just like Bengalis and things like that. It changed, and now so many people, so many big scholars, they respect Shri Gurudev and the contribution he has made to Mathura and the way he has changed the people there, and so much love. I mean, each and every Mathura Vasi, you go and ask them, they just cry for Shri Gurudev. I mean, they just remember him. I mean, so many of them. Uh, Gurudev never differentiated. He is rich and he's poor. He's from that. He's from here and things like that. He was just, nirapeksha. I mean, without any partiality. He showed love to, everybody. And there are so many stories, like some poor disciple, he used to go to her house just to eat a small uh, piece of roti. So that's how he was. I mean, so much love and affection. People would flock in Mathura. I mean, so many people would come to visit him. So that's why he wouldn't stay in Mathura later on, because he wanted to publish so many the books of Shri Rupa and Raghunath. So that's why he went to Shri Govardhan. He went to the west uh, in you know uh, Hawaii. He used to stay there for 2 3 months just to write, and we have so many beautiful pictures of him there. And there he is writing and publishing so many books. And Shri Gurudev took great pains to publish these literatures of Shri Rupa and Raghunath. And he used to say, the mutt may not be there after some time, and maybe this there's so many people and so many things may not be there, but these books, this Vani, this is the only thing that's going to survive time. Like, for example, Shrimad Bhagavatam, Vedavyasji wrote like 5,000 years before, but still uh, Bhagavatam is there. Like Shirupa Goswami Paji wrote Ujjwal Neenmani Bhaksatama Sindhu. He is not there, but still these books are all there. So that's how Shri Gurudev saw, and that's why if you had seen him during the later part of his preaching, like after 2004 and 5, he focused more on publishing these literatures, and he reduced a little bit on preaching. So uh, that's why he took so much time in trying to publish these literatures. But it's very sad nowadays that we don't even have taste to read these things. I mean, let alone to buy and keep them in our house. We have no taste. We want these things just in 5 minutes, and we want everything, you know, uh, you know, instantly. So, but Shri Gurudev published so many books. We are trying uh, to showcase so many books of Shri Gurudev. We are going to have a 2-week festival in our Zoom program, which will be live telecast on Facebook and YouTube next month in June, from like June 14 to June 26, where we will be like showcasing uh, the different books of Shri Gurudev, transcendental literatures of Shri Gurudev, and it will be a short synopsis of each and every title that he has published. And so in this way, we will be trying at least to inspire the devotees, like those who want to read, but they don't know what's in there and what's good for them. So, I mean, this is how I feel that people nowadays want to read books. They want to be well informed first, that what's in there and what they're going to get from it, and what is the message there and things like that. Then maybe if some curiosity is kindled in them, maybe then they will take their time out and read. But these books, these transcendental literatures, they are the real wealth of Shri Gurudev. I mean, I want to declare that this is the real wealth. There may be so many properties, so many marks, so many things, and so many things. Well, very good. But they're not going to stay. They will not stand the test of time. They will all be destroyed, like one day or other, But these books, these things are the real wealth, the real, the mood, Gurudev. So if we try to, loot, plunder this wealth and keep them in our hearts, that's the real service to Shri Gurudev. I mean, the way he took great pains. If you had seen the photos, Gurudev writing there in Hawaii, he had the strap on his neck because by bending and writing, he got spondylitis. And, I have seen so many times because Gurudev was merciful enough, so much mercy that he picked me up from Florida I was drowned in the material sense enjoyment still now, but then he tried to pick me up and, he tried to inspire me, give me taste of Shri Vrindavan Dham, and he called me to come to Shri Vrindavan, and he gave me a chance to serve him, especially in publication. And I've seen him so many times. He would be so immersed in proofreading. He would forget to wear the strap around his neck. But then Madam Maharaj would come and he would chastise him, why don't you wear it? But he would say, I didn't remember it. That's how he got lost in this. I mean, he was so immersed in these things. And then that night, he would have pain in his neck. And it's so sad. As a Madam Maharaj, he would, on different sevaks, I mean, they would do malish here, uh, massage here, in the neck. Then they had some kind of a stick here, so that Shri Gurudev wouldn't bend, So he had this stick here, and he had this strap here, and that's how, I mean, he worked. I mean, that's how much, you know, I wouldn't call it suffering, but he had so much, you know, badanyata, magnanimity, uh, grace for the fallen souls of this world, that he wanted to give them something. So he took great pains. And even after this, if we don't read those books, it's a disservice from our side. I mean, we are not proper disciples. Yeah, we listen to the katha, audio books and so many things, that's fine. But still, we have to read. Like, for example, we go to college, I mean, we listen to the lecture, but still we come back and read the books. So we have to read the books. The books are the basis. So we have to read the books. So Shri Gurudev took so much pain. And I've seen many times he would be so immersed in it, in Govardhan especially. And from time to time, so many devotees from Delhi and so many places, they would come and they would want to meet him. And one time, this like big family from Delhi, they came. Shri Gurudev was writing, and they told him that somebody has come to meet him. He was so, angry. Oh, that teriki. I mean, like, it's always like somebody coming and disturbing me. So that's how he was, you know, absorbed in writing, translating the books of Shri Rupa and Raghunath. So Shri Gurudev, so much he was very much deenheen, humble, where he took great suffering. I mean, he silently, he tolerated so many things. Like, for example, this one devotee in, there in US, Hawaii, I would call him the juice seller. So, so Gurudev used to go to his place and stay there for a long, long time. But then suddenly this one time, Shri Gurudev and Madam Maharaj and Brajanath Prabhu, they were all traveling from, you know, one place to different place to his house. And during that time, that person got a call from somebody else who was not favorable to Shri Gurudev, and that call was on a Bluetooth. And he picked up the phone, and the whole conversation came up on the speaker. And that person didn't know that Shri Gurudev was there, and he was constantly badgering him about so many things, about the Sangha, about Shri Gurudev, and so many things. Shri Gurudev just silently, he listened to the conversation the whole time. And then when he went to his place, went to his place, was like just silent. Then he told to Madam Maharaj and Brajanath Prabhu, like, we will not be staying here with him anymore. So then he, he just left that place and he went and stayed in a hotel. And that person was begging for forgiveness, for mercy, and Shri Gurudev chastised him. What do you think? That I'm preaching at your mercy? It is due to the mercy of my Guru Maharaj and Sri Radha and Krishna that I'm able to preach. I'm not dependent on anybody. So that's how much he had to tolerate. I mean, it's not like a bed of roses that he had and he had success and everything. So much thing he had to tolerate. For example, in so many devotees' house, like he used to go and he had like 10 people with him, and that whole family, they had to give the place for these devotees, and so much thing had to be tolerated for Gurudev also. People are new, they don't know who he is, the language difference, the facility wise, and so many things. I mean, it's not like you travel and it's I mean, you are uh, enjoying things, you know. And Shri Gurudev, he did this for nearly 15, 16 years, you know, just because Srila Swami Maharaj, he gave him the responsibility, and just because Param Gurudev, Shri Bhakti Pragyan, Keshav Goswami Maharaj gave him the responsibility that you are qualified enough to go and preach. And this message of spontaneous love, this is not something he concocted or he was doing by his own will. This responsibility was given by, you know, uh, Radharani uh, herself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, and Param Gurudev. He himself gave the responsibility to Shri Gurudev to preach this message of spontaneous love. I mean, he didn't do whimsically. He didn't do, you know, out of his mental concoction or something like that. Just like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ji, he preached Daiva Varnashram Dharma. Just because Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur ji, he told him to do that. And in the same way, Srila Swami Maharaj ji, he also preached because Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ji, he told him to go and preach the message. So that's why he went and preached. So similarly, Guru Maharaj ji, he talked about the spontaneous love of Shri Radha and Krishna just because he was told to by Radharani, Mahaprabhu, and the Guru Varga. So that's how he did, and it's it's if you take his books, it's in so many books that he has published, and if you listen to his katha, it's all over. For example, Shri Gurudev katha was published in English as Bhakti Rasayan, going beyond Vaikunta, such a nectar of Shri Govinda Leela, such a beauty. I mean, nobody can even comprehend the beauty or the sweetness of Shri Vrindavan Dham if Shri Gurudev, he had not come and, spread the message of Shri Gurudev, Rupa and Raghunath like this. So we are all, eternally indebted to Shri Gurudev. And so many people think he just, so many kind of uh, uh, negative thing. Like, for example, so many people think he's just speaking about gopi, gopi, gopi. It's not like that. Go and listen to his katha. I mean, if you listen in a sequence, it's so many things. I mean, things just, like in the flow, he starts from the beginning and he just gradually moves to the topmost level of bhakti. So we have to listen the complete thing, not just a little bit and try to, misjudge people, you know. And he never, I mean, he explained Rasalila, he explained Venugit, but there was never this vulgarity, grossness, and things like that. I mean, if you listen to them, it's so much imbued with the service tendency, the way we should serve, way we should love, and way we should be dedicated and surrendered to Radha and Krishna. I mean, the way he, you know, catered this message to the masses, to the people. I mean, this is something very special. It's not like a Sahajiya thing. The Sahajiya thing is a different thing. The Sahajiya thing is a different thing, where there is a misconception of Sambandha Gyan, there is a misconception that we, this material body, or something to be given to Sri Radha and Krishna, and where there's a shortcut. I mean, no need to do sadhan bhajan in just, you know, some kind of uh, drug induced kind of, you know, flow kind of a thing. You just, you know, dance and you just reach that. I mean, it's not like that. Unless we listen from a Rasik, Rupanug, and Vaishnav like Shri Gurudev, there is no way the greed is going to come within you. No way. Not even in thousands of lifetime. Even if you practice the Vaidhi Bhakti, still you may never get this, the greed to have this spontaneous love for Radha and Krishna. So to have this greed, we should have the association of those people who are so much greedy to serve Radha and Krishna. And Shri Gurudev was such a spontaneous, ragatmik devotee, because he's a Nitya Siddha. So he's a ragatmik devotee of Braj, Shri Radha Rani. So
we're running out of time now.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last thing. So unless we take shelter of him and in a submissive mood, we listen to the teachings of Shri Gurudev, read his books with a prayer, with a, you know, submissive mood, we may never ever get the greed to have the service of Sri Radha Rani or the spontaneous love for Sri Radha and Krishna. So we are eternally dipped, you know, indebted to Shri Gurudev, and my only prayer to him that may he give me shelter under his lotus feet, life after life, and even if I can get a drop of the particle of his lotus feet, and consider me as his servant of servant, my life will be successful. That's my you know, only prayer to him, to his you know, to his near and dear sevaks of Shri Gurudev, so many of them, so many people, and I pray to them all, please show me mercy that I can become the servant of Shri Gurudev. Guru Maharaj ki jai, and the glories to Shri Gurudev, glories to the servants of Shri Gurudev, glories to the devotees who are listening to the Zoom class here, glories to Shodanandan Prabhu and Vishodhari Didi and Sham Sundari Didi for giving me a chance to glorify Shri Gurudev and purify myself. All glories to Shri Gurudev, all glories to Swami Maharaj. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Actually, I was worried, Vijay, there was so much richness in your content that I thought I'd end up, my summary may be longer than your actual presentation. You covered so many points, but I think the two consistent messages coming through your beautiful Pushpanjali were the treasure, how Gurudev was brought out the treasure within the treasure of Raganuga Bhakti, which we kind of almost as devotees take that for granted. But actually it's such a difficult thing to do, on the one hand, to present with simplicity the highest philosophy while not diluting it, and at the same time giving us access to the completeness of it at the same time. It's kind of like, it's beyond conception to be able to do that, because it's so rich, so vast, so intimate. And yet Gurudev was able to, on the one hand, fire the arrow into our hearts so that we'd understand what the purpose, what the goal, what the prayojan of our bhakti is, while at the same time not overwhelming or confusing us, and yet over a long period of time revealing this treasure to us in layer upon layer upon layer, which is still happening as we speak for all of us. It's quite an extraordinary accomplishment. And he obviously is doing that through his books. And I noticed, by the way, I mean, he did say things like, we are all ISKCON. He didn't see these walls and barriers. There really are no walls and barriers, as Govinda Maharaj said to someone who was talking in distress about some ISKCON politics. Govinda Maharaj said, all this politics and problem and confusion is in your mind. So it's all in our minds, this stuff, because actually we're just all devotees wanting to seek the highest truth. And Srila Gurudev points us towards that. And his books now are becoming proliferated and disseminated throughout devotees of ISKCON, sometimes more transparently, sometimes secretly, but the walls are crumbling. The walls are crumbling because of Gurudev's books and because of Gurudev's beautiful mood. And he said to us, if we ever run out of money and we have temples, as you said, and I'm bringing some extra flavor to this by what he said, sell the bricks and make books from them. You know, this was his priority, because he said it won't follow the test of time. And I loved your story about how he got, I love it when Madhav Maharaj chastises Gurudev. It's such a great Russ regarding his collar, what you call it, the strap. And there's another story where Srila Gurudev was caught in the middle of the night writing under torchlight. So they had to confiscate his torch. Gurudev was beautiful, irrepressible like that. And I also remember you started off by talking about how Gurudev traveled so much, did so many world tours. The numbers vary, but I don't know, it's 38 or 36 or whatever it is. But literally, I would see people coming in to see Gurudev. And if someone had to come to him and said, listen, Gurudev, I'm doing a program on the moon, will you please come? He would have said yes. He wouldn't even thought about it, which made obviously the management tasks for the likes of Rajath and Madhav Maharaj almost impossible. They had that kind of Madhav Maharaj had to play the Shivite role of doing the hard stuff of saying no, because Gurudev would say yes to anybody and everybody. So please, when you that synopsis program you're talking about, if it's if any of it's in English, please let us know so we can promote it through our networks as well. We should help each other as much as possible.
We are making a short, video about it. So we will be releasing the video, and there will be a poster too, I guess.
Right, we'll make sure we promote it.
It's going to be in,
is it Hindi and English or just Hindi?
It's in Hindi, but then somebody can translate it, I guess.
Okay, or I can learn Hindi in a month.
We will also be, covering some titles in English too. Like, for example, Nectar of Shri Govinda Leela, books like that. We'll be also, covering them. So I'll try my best.
Or maybe we should do some reverse. Like you followed us doing this. Maybe we should follow you doing that. We should do an English version of that. Maybe we should do that.
Sure. I mean, this is the best way to preach nowadays, because I mean, like, if you go and tell them, see, this is the book and this is what you have in this and this is what the topic here is, and people maybe they want to go and read it, but like, if we don't say such things, and if we just say take this book, they'll be like, why you should take this book, so this kind of message has to to people, basically.
Also, the other
And
thing, Prabhu, is I want to say to everybody, and most of you, many of you will already be doing this, but what this whole Zoom culture has promoted is a lot of reading groups. And reading groups can be, you know, I have reading groups where, I know reading groups where it's just one-to-one. There's some reading groups where there's 20 people in the reading group. A great way, not everybody has the discipline to sit down, or the taste actually, not just the discipline, to sit down and read a book of Srila Gurudeva. But the accountability that comes and the flavor that comes by reading with other people is very, very powerful. And it also increases our understanding of the literature as we share our insights. So really encourage everybody, you know, if you're not doing any reading groups, you know, you can put 1 or 2 in your week, and it really improves your whole practices. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Beautiful. Thank
you
you
so much,
so much.
Paul.
And well done with your Indian program. It's tremendous.
Sure.